Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Today I start in a total different way, because you know I love taking my time to read your opinions in the YouTube comment section. Sometimes you agree with me, which is always nice, but also when you don't agree with me, I love reading them, because that gives me also other visions, other opinions, where I am able to feed myself to make other videos, to maybe change my mind, as long as they are respectful, that we don't start with clown emojis and so on, insulting players and people. But if this is not the case, I love reading them. And yesterday it was really interesting because Joey Smiley 5726 wrote, I am impressed with Bepe's ability to find topics to discuss about Juve. No stars, no Euro games, no real expectations. Basically, just killing time until new manager and project can start. But I still love my Juve. Fun to listen to the discussions. Okay, grazie. Grazie, Joey, for the comment. I will reply to you, but also to other people that are listening. And I'm sure that these people, at the moment, as we speak, they are putting a maximum of like. And the one that didn't are subscribing to the channel. There is always something to say about Juventus. I find zero difficulties to speak about Juve, for a simple reason. I have been born in a family with a father and two brothers where 24/7 we were speaking about Juventus. Always. There were always discussions. Even when we were in second division, where we were playing once a week in 2007, when we started again in the Serie A, we were also playing once a week, but there was always something to say. There was always the television on, we were always reading the papers, and so on, so I will never miss it. I love Juventus from the deepest of my heart, and I'm not alone, because if you are looking at the game that we will play against Lazio in our home on the 16th of September, we can already say that since yesterday, the 5th of September, so 11 days before, it's already sold out. There is that will of Juve. We want to see our Juve, especially now that we have less games to play. We have less the opportunity to see our Bianconeri on the field. Now, there are other points that you are writing in your comment that I also want to answer in. When you are saying there are no stars, there are no European competitions, there are no real expectations, I tell you the truth, this one will probably be one of the most challenging seasons to explain, to make videos about. I am aware of it. So I will ask you a maximum of support to help me with your comments, to find new topics and so on, because it's a season where we will play only once a week. If in the past I was speaking with my fathers and my brother, today I will speak to you, with you. So it will be a quite difficult one to find exciting new games to speak about, because if you play only 1 week, everything, your week will be influenced by the result that you had. If you won, you can speak about a week full of new positive messages. If you drew, if you lost, well, it's a bit more difficult. It's difficult to analyze 2 games a week when you are only playing one. So it will be a difficult one. I'm asking for your help, for your support, for your loyalty, continuing to watch the videos, but don't be scared. There will always be some things to say. For example, today we'll speak about how to improve Juventus after the 3 first game that we watched. We'll speak about Del Piero and his dream. We'll speak about new contract, because Mercato looks like it's closed, but we continue with internal Mercato, and also for the future Mercato with new names that will be here. So today will be a video where you will have again a lot of arguments, even if Juventus is not even at La Continassa, because most of them are around the world with their national team. Then you also said there are no real expectations and we are basically waiting until the new manager and new project can start. I don't agree. If I can agree with everything that you said before, I don't agree with that one. Because I'm not killing time. I'm doing it with passion. So every single time that I'm investing on the channel, I'm doing with full of pleasure. So it's a benefit. I love it. I really love it. So it's not killing time. And I have my expectations. I don't know if Juventus is strong enough to go and win the Scudetto, but I have my expectations that we are able to compete for the Scudetto, that I'm able to tell you, to give you a narrative where Juventus is again being able to compete for the top until the end, and possibly dreaming about winning the Scudetto, winning the Coppa Italia, 2 competitions that we will participate. I have expectations to see our kids growing even more, to see a Miretti even developing, so that everyone stops speaking bad about the youngest Pepita, the youngest jewel that we have in our team that already showed beautiful things. He needs to improve. I want to see Edin Jr. I want to see Kenan Yildiz. I want to see our players like Rabiot continuing like he did last year. Locatelli, what is his real position? Is he able to give more? So I have my expectations also about Max Allegri. No, I don't wait until we have a new manager. I don't wait until we can start a new project, because if Juventus would have changed coach, if Max Allegri would have left Juventus, I already told you my opinion, I would have been possibly open for it. Why not? I thought even it was the best solution. But Max Allegri has been reconfirmed, and you know it. Him or whatever other coach that is leading Juventus, I will try to support him. I will support him until the contract ends, until he is dismissed. So Max Allegri has my full support. That doesn't mean that I always agree with him, but he has my support. And if we, or some of you, were waiting for a new coach to start a new project, well, I believe that the project already started with a sporting direction, with Giuntoli, with a Wea that join us, with new young players that are in the first team, like I already mentioned, Yildiz and Huijsen. The new project already started. A Juventus that goes for young players mixed with experienced players, but always looking for sustainability. So I think that the project already started. But anyway, thank you for saying that it's fun to listen to the discussion. And again, I'm counting all the loyal ones on the channel, because this season again will be a tough one. And I saw that yesterday the video and 2 days ago the videos, they didn't reach 500 likes. So if you can, please do it. Now we go to that second topic of the video. We're already at 6 minutes, so it will be a long one, I'm sure about it. The second video is how to improve Juventus after the 3 first games in Serie A. Well, we already did in a way, because I feel the tension. I feel Juventini not happy. After Bologna, Juventini were already complaining correctly. We did 1-1. After Empoli and that 2-0, Juventini continue to complain. They are not happy. They are not satisfied. They want more. But we are already doing better. For example, with the points. 21-22 season, the first comeback from Max Allegri, we had 1 point in 3 games. Disaster, a really shame, not at the level of what Juventini are expecting. The second season, a bit better, but still not good, with only 5 points available on 9, or 5 on 9, which is not good. We remember we won against Sassuolo, and then we drew 2 times. This season, we are speaking about something different. Not what we were expecting, because we wanted to go with a 9 on 9, but we have 7 points that are placing Juventus at the moment at 7th in the ranking. So in terms of points against Udinese, Empoli, Bologna, that you will tell me, Beppe, we didn't play against Inter, Napoli, Milan, Fiorentina, Roma, and you are correct. But against these 3 teams, we have already 7 points. So it's already much better than 2 years ago. It's already better than last year. But we have to improve in our way of playing, because if you go inside the statistics, inside the numbers, if you study the game, you see that we already conceded 35 shots on, not on goal, but 35 shots, which is a lot. We see that we have 5.85 expected goals, which is good in front, but we see that we can do much better also there. And then one of the stats that I love to share with you is the succeeded passes, the pass accuracy that is still low at 84.6. So what can Juventus do better? Is Juventus doing better? I'm referring to the first words of Max Allegri in post-conference after the win over Empoli, where he said something probably shocking for a lot of tifosi. He said the game of Empoli is the game that we played the best in. The best game played by Juventus this season, while Udinese was the worst one. Mamma mia, he's crazy, he's out of mind. What is he saying? It's not normal. We were all excited only about that first half against Udinese, while the other games we were not sure, we were still doubting. So I can tell you that if you are going to the numbers, I can understand what he's saying. He's telling us that in the 3 games that we played, 18 shots conceded against Udinese, 10 shots conceded against Bologna, 7 shots against Empoli, a total of 35 shots against, which is a lot. On the other side, if we are looking at the shots that we did, 8 against Udinese, the lowest one until now, 14 Bologna, 18 against Empoli. So you see a crescendo. More shots we created against Empoli, less shots we conceded against Empoli, less shots we had against Udinese, more shots we conceded against Udinese. So in terms of stats, I can understand it. Of course, then you have to explain the narrative against Udinese. You win 3-0 at halftime. The second half, you can't go with the same pressure, intensity, will in the second half against Udinese. So the numbers are a bit manipulated in that game. But we have to work in one thing, is our defensive solidity that at the moment is still shaky. Shaky against three teams that I tell you will not compete for the top 4. 35 are way too much, especially if we are looking at the ranking we are in the shots conceded. We are 10th, equal to Genoa. Genoa that lost 4-1 against Fiorentina, so we have to improve there. Then it's true that versus Empoli, the shots that arrived were all outside of the box, never really dangerous. And you can see that if you are looking at the expected goals against, well, Juventus is 5th. What are other things that we have to do better? If you are looking at the shots on goal that we had, we can say that we already scored 6 goals, with 3 goals that were cancelled, with 2 times we hit the post. So you can say that we are there. A beautiful team that is also attacking, scoring goals. So is there something that we have to improve? Yes, absolutely yes. Because if we are better in terms of ranking of expected goals, where Juventus is already 3rd, well, we have to improve that duo between Chiesa and Dusan Vlahovic that are now healthy, that can give, but still have to work into their partnership, understanding each other and even doing better. We have a more aggressive behavior on the field, but that also means that we are more shaky behind and not always focused up front. So one of the beautiful quotes that I found, thanks to one of your comments, was that Professor Charles Xavier from X-Men said, the true focus lies between rage and serenity. A beautiful quote, fantastic quote that I believe is the best one for that beginning of the season of Juve. If we are able to find a focus between calma, serenity and that rage, I think that Juventus can improve much better, especially if we are able to grow the physical condition from our midfielders, Locatelli, Rabiot, Fagioli, especially with Fagioli and Rabiot that were not able, due to slightly injury, to participate to the preseason training camp. So now that they will have more minutes, that they will have more strength in their legs, I believe that the entirety of our midfield can improve. So you see there are a lot more improvement margin, like for example the pass accuracy with 84.6%. Juventus is 9th in that pass accuracy ranking. There are a lot of things that we can improve. Did we see already improvements? Yes, but we can do much better. And if we see that we are already 3rd with 7 points on 9 available, I think that we can really stick with the top clubs until really far in the season if we are able to become better and to improve the things that we just mentioned. Now, Locatelli will be a really important player in that improvement because there are a lot of discussions on Locatelli. If the first game was okay, the next 2 were not fantastic from him. It looks like now, with him being called up back to the Italian national team with a new coach, that is Spalletti, we see his smile again. He's happy. He wants to have that new energy and to show it. Also happy to say that yes, he can play like a regista, a role that a lot of people are putting in doubt, but he's admitting himself, I'm ready for it, and I believe that Spalletti will give him that opportunity. Speaking about Italian national team, yesterday there was the goalkeeper of Macedonia that went to the training camp with the legendary 2003 shirt from Buffon, saying that it was his idol of ever. It will be funny because they will play against Buffon team that is now team manager of Italy. Gazzetta dello Sport is speaking about the third topic that I wanted to mention in today's video. It means the contract extensions. Juve colpi da Max. Juve signatures, things of Max Allegri. Let's say like that. Juventus that is anticipating, because the mercato with new faces is now closed, but we are working on our internal mercato. What are the names that Juventus Giuntoli is thinking about? Because we want to do this contract extension with a big motivation, being able to reduce even more that salary mass. One of the first players that we will try to speak with is Rugani that can see his contract being extended with lower salary. Manager said we didn't speak with Juve yet, but we have the possibility to agree. Szczesny, 1 more year, lower contract, and I tell you, I would be extremely happy, because I told you, for me, Szczesny is fantastic. The only small doubt is that he's a goalkeeper that, with the new standards of Juventus, is a bit high in salary mass. So if he can decrease, staying one more year, I will be fantastically happy. Another player, and here we will take a few seconds to speak about, is Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba had a 4-year contract, already did one. On paper, not on the field. This season we know it, and we already spoke about his physical condition. Well, Juventus wants to speak with Pimenta, the agent of Pogba, explaining that we want to restructure that contract, going towards a lower fix instead of the 8 net that is receiving, lower fix, but with more bonuses. So bonuses not because you win something or whatever, but your own individual performances. So how many minutes you play, how you are playing, how many games you are playing, how many times you are assisting, scoring, and so on. So linked to the performances, which I believe is just fantastic. It's something super important where I believe we should go for a lot of players, maybe the entire football world like that. Lower fix, more on performance based. Pay attention, a performance based linked to individual but also collective result, because otherwise you all become really selfish. We also have to check to their team results. That can be the future of football, not only because Paul Pogba is injured, so it's a specific case, but I believe more in general, something that can be really more fantastic. Of course, we have to pay attention to Saudi Arabia, that doesn't care at all about these kind of structures, but they go with million. Gatti 2027 increasing. So this time we are speaking about an increase of the contract, but we already spoke about it yesterday, so it could be really great. Then Rabiot. Rabiot is loyal to Max. Max already said on television that during the summer he was chasing him, he was harassing him with messages to continue with Juve, saying that he also took the right decision to continue because it's a midfielder that you can't do without in terms of physical presence on the field. Now the experience, the auto conviction of him, thanks to last season where he also scored 11 goals. Well, Juventus will give him 2 different options already this autumn, or 1-year extension, so until 2025 with the same condition as now, quite high, or maybe going towards a 3-year contract for Rabiot with also there lowering the fixed part, which can be good. What about Federico Chiesa? Well, this will be one of the big topics of Juventus. The good thing, and I can already anticipate you if you are still here, that Giuntoli has a really great relationship with the entourage of Federico, and that they received the promise that he will not leave Juventus for free. Verbal promise means a lot, but means not always everything, because today it's white, tomorrow it's black. So everything can change in the world, but especially in football. But having already that reassurance is good to sit on the table. So we can potentially extend with 1 more year the contract of Chiesa to see how things are evolving. But if a European club is coming this summer, again knocking at the door, we will not have to reduce the offer that we are asking for Chiesa if he decides really that he wants to leave Juve. So that can be an important one, a really important one, especially with the promise that he will not leave for free. We have other topics to speak about now. It's the new players that Juventus is looking, because if Paul is a question mark, a big question mark, where we are looking at the moment more with doubts, negative doubts, than with positive doubts, well, we are looking for the future defensive midfielders, and 3 players has been in target of Juve. We already mentioned them at the end of the Mercato of August, but they are still there on the list of Giuntoli. We are speaking about Kone from 2001. Mamma mia, he's young 22 for me, but it's not the youngest one of that list. Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Habib Diarra from Strasbourg, 19 years old. Kamara, born in 2004 from Dortmund. 3 names that are real, that are concrete, that at the end didn't happen for this Mercato, but for the next one it can happen. Not the winter probably, but in the summer can happen. 3 players that can join that first team of Juventus. They all have a common point. Physical, really great in terms of defensive skills, and there are players that has 90 minutes in the legs. So we are looking again for players that are young, physical. We are increasing. Mark said it, we want to run on the field, but also players that are young and sustainable. And we are also looking at future stars, unknown future stars at the moment, like a Argentinian player that is playing at River Plate. We are speaking about Claudio Echeverri. El Diablito, mamma mia, what a name. If your nickname is already at that young age El Diablito, mamma mia. Anyway, Juve ho un sogno. Juve, I have a dream. No, I'm not speaking about Martin Luther King. I am speaking about Alessandro Del Piero, that yesterday was speaking for 90 minutes in front of 3,000 Juventini in Puglia, it means south of Italy, a region where some Juventus fan clubs were together. They had actually, like a fusion for the come of Alessandro Del Piero, where he spoke about the fact that he's not yet in the management of Juve. He said, it's not because I'm not part of the management of Juve today that I have less love, less intensity, less attention, less eye for Juventus, because nobody will ever be able to cancel the story of love between me and La Vecchia Signora, the old lady. But of course, I'm not in the club today, but I also have my dreams, without mentioning them really well, but the message has been said. My dream is to one day, when the stars will be aligned, to be there in Juventus, giving even more, not only as a supporter, but also as a real manager. Grande. We can't wait for Del Piero. But again, I don't want to burn it. I don't want to say Del Piero is like Ronaldo, means the best possible choice in the most wrong time. So wait, calma, we have time. Corriere dello Sport speak about Inzaghi, Inter per la Stella. Inter and Inzaghi that are going for the stars. According to me, even if they win, it will not be a legitimate star, because you know all the story that happened with Inter. But anyway, it is what it is. I think, and I will repeat, because some people in the comment section today, it's an answer to the comment section. People told me, Beppe, we have to stop praising the other teams. I agree that we have to speak well about our team, seeing our team also with the positive that we are doing, but we can't just hide the fact that Inter started fantastically well, like Milan. So we have to mention them. Like we are also saying that Roma had a disaster start. Anyway, this was it for me. I think that we spoke about so many different topics. I hope you loved it in a slower pace thing. But when this morning I was reading the comment of Joey Smiley 5726 that was telling me, Beppe, I don't know how you are able to find topics to speak about Juve. Well, 22 minutes of Juventus this morning without Juventus playing. Like you said, maybe without the world stars Mbappe, Holland, without European games, not even Serie A game because it's national break, we were able to do it. So grazie, forza, Juve.